Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do this doily with this lovely flower border. And for this I'm going to be using Paintbox Cotton Aran yarn. If you can send me a message, I could give you a link to where to buy this yarn. And this is the yarn I always tend to use for all my projects, purely because cotton tends to give a better detailed stitch appearance. So we're also going to need some darning needles just to weave our ends in when we get to the end of the project. And I'm going to be using a 2.5mm hook for this tutorial. So we're going to make a start. To begin, we're going to be doing the magic loop. So I've already got a video on this if you're not sure how to do one, but I'll try and go slowly here. So we do a little cross on our fingers, put our hook underneath the first cross and pull the thread that's on top. And then we're going to be getting our yarn that we're going to be working with and creating a magic loop like so. So to start, we're going to just turn that around so we have this thread on this side so we can weave it in, and this counts as one chain, so we're just going to chain 2 more. So 1, 2. So we have 3 chains, which is going to count as a stitch, and now we're going to do 19 double crochets all around. So in total we should have 20, which includes this. So let's make a start. I'm going to do a few and then I'll pause the video and come back to you towards the end of the projects. This is our second one. Also, if you don't already, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I post all my work and lots of videos there as well. I'll put a link in the description below for that. And yeah, I hope to see some new faces on there after this tutorial. And if you give this project a go, please make sure you tag me so I can see your pictures. I love seeing all your work. And we're going to continue now. So I'm going to pause the video right here. As you can see, I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 double crochets already. So we need a total of 20. So I'll meet you guys back in a sec. Right, so I'm back. I've done 20 around here. And the beauty of the magic loop is now, if I just pull this, I can make a tight center. Because it's a bit tight, it might take some pulling effort. So as you can see, the circle's getting nice and small. Now I like mine's extra small, so I've pulled quite a bit there. So now we've got our 20, we're going to join at the top of this stitch here. This one right here. So we're going to do a slip stitch in that one. Now it might be a bit tight, but that's totally fine. So we have our first round here. Now we're going to move on to round 2. So for that, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And for this round, what we're going to do is, I could show you on this one, we're going to do a double crochet, and then we're going to chain 2. Then the next stitch, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 2. So I'll show you a few of those and then I'll move on to the third round. So you could pause the video and catch up if you need from the first round, if you're still in the first round. Moving on to round 2. So we've chained our 3, and then the next stitch right here, I'm going to count this as the next stitch. We're going to do another double crochet. And at this point, we're going to chain 2. 1, 2. Now when the stitch is right next to it, this one and this one, we're going to chain, sorry, not chain, do another 2 double crochets. So 1, and again we're going to chain 2. Now I'll just show you this one more time, and then I'll pause the video and meet you when I'm closer to the end of the round. So in here, 1, 2. So what we're doing is we're not skipping any stitches, and chain 2. Yeah, so what we're doing here is we're not skipping any stitches at all. We're just working on every one of these, but with a chain 2 between every 2 double crochets. So in total, at the end, you should have a total of, we'll count it together. I'll put my hook there so we can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should have 10 of these, so 20 double crochets in total. So what I'm going to do now is pause the video, complete my round, and come back to you. So we're closer to the end of the round, so I'm going to show you how we do this. So I've done my chain 2 from the last 2 double crochets. Now I'm going to go in here, do my first double crochet, go in the next one, do my second double crochet. Now if you've done it right, you should end with no stitches left. So to end, we're going to chain another 2. So we get that space in between, and then we're going to join on top of this chain on the 3rd stitch. So that's roughly here, I would say. Take my hook out and show you. Here. So let's slip stitch into there and start round 3. To start round 3, we are going to just slip stitch into this space here because we're going to work into this space. So I'm putting my hook in there, pulling the thread through and just pulling it through my loop. We're in now a great position to start round 3. So to start, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And then what we're going to do for this round is in each of those spaces, so these spaces here, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 2 and a double crochet, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. So between these here, we are not chaining anything, and I'm going to demonstrate for that for you now. 1, 2, second double crochet, whoops, 1, 2, and chain 2. Now in the same area, we're going to do another 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. So now we move on to the next space, which is here, and we're not going to chain anything in between. We're just going to move straight into a double crochet and another one. And we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then a double crochet and a double crochet. So I hope this round's a bit easy to understand. I'm just going to demonstrate it one more time, and then I'll pause the video and join you back at the end of the round. Chain 2 and another double 2 crochets, 1, 2. Right, so I'm going to catch up with you now towards the end of the round. So I've got one more left to do. I'm just going to show you how to do that one and how to finish this round off. So 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, chain 2, 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet. To complete this round, we're going to join at the top of this chain we did earlier, so this would be around here. So let's slip stitch into there and do a color change and start the last round, which is the pretty little pointy border. So now that you've slip stitched, what I like to do to make sure my work is a bit secure is I'll go in here and I'll slip stitch one more time, and then maybe I'll go in here and I'll slip stitch again. And now what you're going to do is just cut your work off, and I'm going to come back and show you how to do the last round. At this point, we're now going to do a color change, and this is my chosen yarn. So I've snipped my ends off, and now what I'm going to do is, instead of starting anywhere close to here, I'm just going to pick this end to start with. Now it's crucial you follow this step to get this seamless border, because if you do it any other way, I find that the border doesn't look as neat. So what we're going to do is join our yarn in one of these ends, any that you like. I'm just going to pull my yarn through and tie a knot. There we go. Now the pattern for this will be 3 double crochets, 3 chain, 3 double crochets, and then slip stitch there. 3 double crochets, 3 chains, 3 double crochets, and slip stitch between these. Now our first one is going to be quite different to make sure we end on a nice sort of finish. On this one I ended on here, but it looks pretty. So let me begin. To start, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a double crochet. Now we're only going to do this to start with for our first bit, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets in that same area. 1, 2, made a mistake there, let's undo that. So cotton yarn is quite difficult to work with because it splits, but that's okay. The end result is pretty. So that's our second double crochet, and now we're going to do our third. That's how we're going to start, and now we're going to slip stitch in this space here. So just put your hook through this, pull the thread through, and just pull it through the loop. Next one, we're going to do 3 double crochets. So this is where we start repeating the pattern of 3 double crochets, 3 chains, and 3 double crochets. I'm going to demonstrate a few for you and then meet you at the end of the round. So I've done my 3 double crochets. Now I'm chaining 3, and we'll go back in the same area and do another 3 double crochets. 1. Actually, I don't like how this stitch looks. It's looks a bit splitty, so I'm going to undo that. I like all my work looking pretty. So we undid one from here. We're just going to add it back in. Now everyone makes mistakes, so that's completely fine. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to do 3 double crochets in that same. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to slip stitch into here. So put your hook through, pull the thread back, and put it through the loop. In the next one, we're going to do the same. So 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to do another 3 double crochets. Please pause the video if you do need to catch up. 2, 3. So as you can see, we're starting to get that little pointy bit. I'm gonna come back, meet you around here, so I could show you how to end the work so it looks nice and pointy like this one here. We're coming towards the end now. I'm going to show you how to do this last bit. So I've done my slip stitch in here. Now moving on to my 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. Now I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do another 3 double crochets in the same space. 1, 2, and 3. So now we're going to slip stitch into this bit. And we're going to add 1 more double crochet here because in the beginning we only added 2. Go into that space. So if you missed that, I'm just going to undo it and do that again. So we're working our double crochet into this space here. Also, if you feel like I'm going too fast in my videos, there is a button on YouTube actually where you can slow it down by how slow you want it. Sorry, I had to undo that. That's okay. I'll just do my 3rd double crochet in here quickly and do my slip stitch. Yeah, so as I was saying, I just Google how to slow down YouTube videos. And hopefully you'll be able to find it and you can slow these videos down and look a bit better at what I've been doing. So our last double crochet was in this space here. Now we're going to slip stitch in the top of the 3rd chain here. So I'm going to go in roughly into this one right here. So we're going to slip stitch into that one. I'm just going to pull through and then I'm going to slip stitch in this one here, just the one right next to it, the one straight after that stitch we just slip stitched into. Now as you can see, it looks a lot better. So I'm just going to get my scissors and come back and show you how I end the work and what you can do to weave in your ends. I've cut my thread off and I'm just going to pull through. And what I'm going to do is go back in that same space here from the back and pull my thread through. And now we have our little doily. And honestly, just using that technique, I love how neat it looks and how seamless it looks. So now I have 2. And I'm just going to quickly go through how to weave in your ends. I'll use this one that we were working on. We have 4 ends because we did a color change, but if you have 1, there'll be less to weave in. And what I normally do is I'm just going to find a needle that will be a good size. I think this one will be a good size. So I'll show you how I do my outer one. So I'm just going to thread my thread through. Oh, this can be a bit annoying to do sometimes. And now what I'm going to do is, rather than working through here, I'm just going to see if I can go downwards. So I'm going to put my needle through here and just work through the back of the work. I'm just conscious that you might not be able to see this properly on camera. So I went through a few stitches, but if you can see your needle at the front, that's not gonna look good. So I'm just gonna take it out again. I could do it in small bits. So I'm gonna put it through this bit first. Make sure that edge is pointy. Then I'm gonna go through here. You can see my needle at the front, so I'm not doing it right. This bit. So I'll go through this bit. Now it becomes easier, it's just the edging that I'm a bit more careful with. And once you're away from the edge, actually, you can just put your work needle in through there, pull it through. Now, I tend to weave in my ends quite a bit just to make sure my work is super secure, but if you have another method, then please use that. And then when I've weaved in enough, I like to do a knot in my work. So what I tend to do is I go through one of these back stitches and I just create a knot like so. Yep, so what I'll then do is I'll snip the end off when I've weaved in enough and done my knot. And that will get me a nice clean looking back. Now I'll do that with all of them. I'm not going to do that on this video because I have taken up a lot of time already. But seriously guys, I hope you enjoyed my video, and if you attempt these, tag me on Instagram if you're on Instagram, and make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'll be coming back with more tutorials.